The Acolyte was just released on Disney Plus, and this is a show that had a bit of controversy going into it, and boy, do we have some thoughts. Starting off with the good, the action in this show, I think, was very good. If you saw any of the previous trailers or our previous video, we mentioned that they focused a lot more on martial arts and a lot more force combat, and they really did. I think a lightsaber was pulled out once for a fight between the two episodes, and otherwise just stuck to hand-to-hand combat, some daggers. It was some well choreographed fight scenes. I found them pretty enjoyable, and I thought they're really impressive, especially since we haven't seen this level of fighting from the Jedi ever. They've always been using their lightsabers. That's been their go-to weapon. As they said in the show, Jedi only draws their lightsaber if they intend to kill, and that's something we really don't see in any other piece of Star Wars media. And I kind of like that. And I think that was, to me, the best part of the two episodes. I think the scenery was also very nice. We did get introduced to several new planets. Some of them are a bit repetitive to things we've already seen, but I still do like how we're getting a bigger universe and going with the High Republic getting new planets. And also with that, we got the High Republic costumes. Let me know in the comments if you like the yellow goldish tunic or if you like the more of the faded tan ones that we see in the other trilogies. In the comments below, let us know real quick what you thought about the first two episodes of The Acolyte. Did you enjoy it? Did you not? And let us know why.
You guys know what I've been saying about this show. I am not a fan of the director, producer, creator, writer. Just recently, one of the stars of the show, he plays a Jedi in the show. He made a comment, which we can all make a mistake and say something, but the dude was like,
He
he
doubled
starts off by
down.
saying, "Yeah, that's my issue with it is that he doubled down on it." Because again, we can all say some off the wall stuff and make a mistake. First, he starts off the interview by claiming how big of a Star Wars fan he is, which, I've heard a lot of people say they're huge Star Wars fans and they don't know who the hell Greedo is. Not a big deal. Then the guy goes on to say something, paraphrasing here, something along the lines of like, well, no one bats an eye when Anakin Skywalker blows up the Death Star and like millions of people died. And again, as Griff said, not a big thing, but the dude doubles down on it. So
And then
that's
not to mention he mentioned Anakin killing Vader in the same breath. It was
so
so messed up.
there's plenty of stuff that we went in here with on the edge. I went in here hoping to find stuff that I liked. And there were things that I did like. The wardrobe of the Jedi. This is the first time, and I have been nagging about this since I was a kid and I watched Empire Strikes Back, is the Jedi don't ever change clothes, which makes no sense whatsoever. Here, we get to see that for the first time. You
Yeah.
see them when they're introduced and they're wearing, their very High Republic garments, which is cool. And then when they go on the mission, they're wearing something else. And I'm like, finally,
It
it
makes
only
sense.
makes sense to me. Anakin and Obi-Wan wore the same shit throughout the entirety of episode 2 and episode 3. I get it, they're in a war, but Anakin for the most part in episode 2 is protecting
He's on
Senator Amidala,
vacation.
which she's in a different outfit every time we see her. I don't expect Anakin to do that because essentially the Jedi are like monks. But I did expect him to wear others, just change it up a little bit. Never happened. Here we get to see that for the very first time. So I thought that was cool. I did like that. I did like the martial arts element of it because I myself am into martial arts. And I do like the fact that the Jedi are able to do something outside of their lightsaber.
That was
It
pretty cool.
shows that they are very capable because we've always been told the Jedi are very capable warriors, but we've only ever seen them be that with their lightsaber. So I like that. And the martial arts, I was happy to see Carry On Moss. I did like the Jedi Soul, Jedi Master Soul. I thought that was cool. I thought that guy looks like a Jedi.
Yeah.
I mean, if I walked in a room and you said to me, pick out 5 Jedi, he'd be one of them, definite.
Hmm.
I just fits the persona of a Jedi. He walks like a Jedi. He talks like a Jedi. I bought into that.
Especially his dialogue. It
Yeah,
was a lot
I
more formal.
seen High Republic Jedi Temple, more of it. I liked. I like seeing more Jedi walking around and doing their thing. I like little Padawans. I like lightsabers. We only really saw two. There was one particular Jedi that's how I always envisioned myself as a Jedi, which is the same guy we're talking about that goofed up. Every time he walks in a place, he ignites his lightsaber.
He draws it at every breath.
And most Jedi, yeah, it's a self-defense weapon. So it's really like I will ignite it when I have to. I will
Yeah,
disagree with
I
Griff
do
on
like how
one
it
thing.
I do like how, well, real quick, how where you said that it really they did a good job, especially with that and that showcasing his inexperience. So I did think that was a good
Yeah,
touch.
I did like that, but I also it feels like something that if I were a Jedi, that's what I'd walk in the room,
Yeah,
that bitch would be lit.
it's because it's
I'm not
cool.
waiting for you to turn your you might still kill me, but my shit would be lit walking in.
It'd be a
I will
terrible Jedi.
disagree with one thing with one thing. Yeah, I think I'd be a good Sith. With one thing that Griff said, and also it was said on the show. So Jedi turn their lightsabers, ignite their lightsabers when they're ready to kill. That goes against everything I ever learned from Obi-Wan, Yoda, and all the other Jedi, which is it is
That could have just been like the 100-year difference, though, and especially being in wartime.
self-defense,
But you're right.
not you know not to kill. Because if so, so many Jedi would have taken the opportunity. Like Mace Windu could have walked in there and just stabbed Palpatine.
Yeah,
But that's just my thing. Sadly, though, that's where the things that I liked end.
yeah. This story was rushed to all hell. A lot of events happened super fast, but too fast. They didn't give us enough time to introduce the characters, get us to like the characters, and get us to know them before we start caring about their problems. We jumped into their problems from the first minute, and none of the scenes that should have had impact had any impact. I don't care about any of these characters yet after 2 episodes because it's pure plot. We don't get any development. We don't learn anything about the characters. Why the hell should I care? I don't care about any of them. I do think saying that if we do learn more about these characters and they do end up fixing that, a rewatch of this show may improve my thoughts. But going in blind and knowing nothing, there's no reason to care. Also, the twist, well, the twist was given away before the show even started, which was lame as hell. And one of the issues I also had is Stars making us feel like we're seeing an alien race, seeing an alien world. One of the characters kind of just CGI green, when we're used to such a higher caliber of prosthetics, of makeup, and this bitch is just green. That's all she is. And that just felt really out of place. And seeing images of her, it didn't look right. We also kind of said this in our other video. See the Jedi make a lot of boneheaded decisions that just don't make any sense, leading a lot into the Phantom Menace and more boneheaded decisions. There are two of the characters. There's a Padawan and a Jedi Knight. For some reason, there's this really weird power struggle, power dynamic between the two, where the Jedi Knight always feels like he's super intimidated by her and he has to one up her at every turn. That just doesn't make any sense to me. This man's a Jedi Knight, and he's feeling the need to prove himself to a Padawan at half his age. Why?
Yeah, no, a lot could be said. I I do want to say I almost feel like I have to give a disclaimer. I wanted to like this.
Same.
I despite of what I've said about the creator, the wokeness, and the young actor who plays a Jedi who goofed up, because we can forgive him for that with
Yeah.
time. But I wanted to like this because it's Star Wars, and I am a giant fucking Star Wars fan. I promise you. I'm not just saying that. I legitimately am. My kid's name is Leia. I was bored to hell with the first episode. So much so, I started watching. I told Griff, I'm gonna start. By the time my kid's in bed and etc. I'll start it at 9. I started it at 9 sharp. 9:15, 9:20. I dozed off, and
That
I
never
just
happens in Star
I
Wars.
I pressed pause, and I went to bed. I shit you not. I promise you, I'm not making this up. I woke up at 2 a.m. and I was like, oh crap, I gotta watch the rest of this episode and the second one because we have to record. So I got up, splashed some water on my face, went to the living room, put it on, started back up. The story thus far is not well written. Got to dive into a little bit of spoilers here, but one of the characters that was a big selling point for me dies within the first 4 minutes of the episode. I mean, the episode starts as Griff said, action packed. We get the big reveal spoiled within the first 4 minutes, and one of these big characters die.
Yeah,
And
that's one of the
I
reasons I was
I
watching the show too.
I thought it was just not a well way of utilizing that character or that actress.
Hmm.
Another thing is, why spoil the like
The
your entire mystery thing? Like you blew your load within 5 minutes. I was like, I mean, I'm
It's
sure
so obvious too.
we would have figured it out, but it's just the way they spoiled it. I'm like, did they maybe think we were gonna get bored and we weren't gonna care? I don't know what. It's just
They're
not well written. The dialogue, well, there's one character's dialogue that's well written. I think it's Soul's.
Yeah, Soul's dialogue's good.
But everyone else, even Daphne King's character, her banter with the other Jedi, the one that Griff says that he has to prove himself, and I agree. I don't know why a newly flagged, if you will, because he admits to it, but even a newly flagged Jedi Knight, Yord, why is he trying to prove himself to this Padawan? It's like even in high school, no senior would try to prove themselves to a freshman. They wouldn't
Yeah,
even speak to freshmen. So why is this dude like, he does he like her? Is there the
that's
only thing
oh
I
god,
can
I
think of
hope
is
not.
he's
That's
got a
what I was
crush.
thinking, but I hope not.
Because if there's not a crush between these two mooks, I don't understand why he tries to one up a Padawan. I would if I were a Jedi Knight, I'd maybe turn and look at her, but I'd be like,
Yeah,
fucking kid, you don't know what you're talking about yet. The scenery, they go to different Jedi temples, which is okay, I guess, but it's almost like they're so isolated from the temple in Coruscant. You know,
and
it's a little weird.
one of the temples we did see is like in the middle of a street market, which felt a little out of place. Aren't they supposed to
That
be more
fucking
isolated?
that's weird as all balls. That's a Jedi temple, which is these people are dedicated to peace and order in the galaxy, and it's in the middle of a fucking market. And also, this is the High Republic era. So this is when Jedi are, like they're considered marshals of the Old West, if you will. So no one's messing with Jedi. This half-ass trained
Kid.
girl infiltrates these, which are supposed to be, highly sophisticated guarded buildings. She infiltrates these buildings and kills Jedi. If that were a Sith Lord, I wouldn't say anything about it. But this is some half-ass trained girl.
He's just a punk kid.
It doesn't make. I mean, I could see Darth Maul doing this kind of shit.
Yeah,
Ventress doing this kind of shit. But this kid
especially
and
since
that
like
line, do you remember that line with what may or may I don't know if that's the Acolyte or that's the Sith Lord, but he's on a beach, he's like on a rock.
yeah,
Just the line he delivers, I'm like, that shit is lame.
yeah, and like even with that, like for people, don't be so quick to dismiss that like she is a Sith apprentice, she's been trained, but it has been clear
Is
as
she?
day. We could stretch it, sure. It's been clear as day that yeah, she's been trained to the Force, but she is getting handled at every turn. We could see her inexperience. She has over the top dramatic lines. She has this one catchphrase she has to say before every fight that just
I can tell you right now, I don't
sucks.
like this bitch. I want someone to stab her in the heart
It's not
with a
gonna happen
lightsaber.
till maybe like the end.
Yeah,
But
but I
it's
hope she has a.
yeah, and oh my, one big thing I completely forgot about. I'm surprised Edward hasn't mentioned it. That completely starts us off on the wrong note is the opening title crawl in the first 10 seconds. So, as you would think for any Star Wars project, you have the scrolling text that introduces the story. This is where she wanted to break away from George Lucas and didn't. She had the title text, sure, but it was a. I I know this is super overly analytical. There's a different shade of blue which looked a little bit off, as like we're all used to a certain one, we're used to it being slanted. It's just typed onto a screen and then it just stays there. Doesn't scroll. it's a minor thing,
It's a
but
stupid
given
fucking way to move away from George Lucas. It's a dumbass
that's the
fucking.
yeah, it
If you
doesn't
want
make
to move
sense.
away from George Lucas, do other shit. This is it's a
That was just
minor gripe, but
weird.
it's dumb as
It's a,
hell.
yeah, it's a small gripe, but it's we're conditioned to expect a certain thing, and if you're going to give it to us, why change it? The old stuff works, and that's one of the things that works. Just keep it. We like the opening title crawl. I don't get it, man.
Yeah. No, I don't get it. I was bored with episode one. I was slightly or entertained with the second episode, but thus far, this is a shitty start.
Yeah,
There were things that I did like, as I said. I am hoping that the show picks up and that I am able to fall in love with it. We have 6 episodes left, so 6 more weeks of this shit. But
I think it can definitely
rough
turn
start.
around.
I hope
I
so.
still
I want
ex
it to.
I still expect this to be better than Percy Jackson, at least in my opinion, just because I'm more of a Star Wars fan, and even bad Star Wars is going to be better than well mediocre of something else. I think this
Hope
can
you're right.
definitely turn around as we get more into the story. I because they definitely played it into this murder mystery, but considering how that's out in the first two
That shit was
episodes,
solved.
yeah, so something else is coming, I hope, or you just have a shitty ass writing team. I'm really intrigued about the Sith Lord, considering they seemed a bit mechanic, especially with the voice, right? It was a bit mechanical.
Looks like a fucking Knight of Ren.
Yeah, like they have some sort of voice filter, some sort of technology. So I am looking forward to getting more about that. They've given so much away about this flashback that we eventually need to get back to that I hope they just do it soon because I'm not super interested in it. I think they can win me over. It's just
I hope they can. I
what's the
want to
new
love it.
thing they're going to introduce? Something new has to come. We just don't know what it is yet.
I know that stupid Jedi whip is coming, and I'm telling you right now,
That's gonna be the flashback episode. No, is that that's gonna be a flashback episode?
I'm not gonna like that. There's no I didn't like it in Legends. I'm not gonna like it here. It's stupid
Yeah.
as all hell. The science behind it is fucking dumb.
Not to mention the fire
Um,
in space.
yeah, that's I'm not gonna wrap my head around that. I want to like this show. I don't want to shit on it for 6 weeks. Here's the thing. I'll close with this. If this show sucks, if 90% of Star Wars fans hate this show, do you guys want Kathleen Kennedy to continue? Because I wanted
I
that bitch
don't.
gone 6 years ago.
Yeah, I
And not
agree.
because she's a woman, it's because she sucks.
Yeah,
And she doesn't understand Star Wars.
yeah.
That's why.
But if you
I
want to see,
mean, you have John Favreau and Dave Filoni fucking sitting right there.
it would be so easy. I mean, they are in charge now. Just you just need to get this out of the way. It wouldn't surprise me if I will. We'll do a video after when the series is all over, but season two looks to be in jeopardy. We want to see some good Star Wars and we want to get excited about something coming up in the future, go check out our thoughts about the Ahsoka series. Season two's coming and it's going to be tied into the Thrawn arc and the Mandalorian, and we can't say enough great things about that show. Go check it out. Thank you so much for watching.
Take care, guys. Let us know your thoughts.